Hey everyone, off the mic Sports Network here. NBA All Star weekend is come and gone. The OGs, led by Shaq as the general manager, win. Go watch my other video here on the channel about um, my assessment of the format and the viewing experience. It was kind of a mess, but the basketball itself was fine. Um, I think I might have gotten to the bottom of one of the main reasons why the NBA is where it is right now. And it never became more clear to me than on Sunday afternoon when we found out a significant name was not playing in the All Star game. It was LeBron James. Nonchalantly, right before the tournament was supposed to take place, yeah, you know what? I have foot and ankle pain and soreness. I'm not going to play, which on, on a lot of levels is just fucked up because Norman Powell, who was in the three-point shooting contest, averaging 24 points a game, I didn't even realize that for the Clippers. NBA champion, having one of the best seasons of his career, could have easily been a fill-in. But LeBron, who I have known this for years, covering him and, obviously watching him being a Cleveland Cavaliers fan for over a decade, LeBron is inherently, kind of selfish and about himself. And, that on some level, I was like, you know what? That's just who LeBron is. But you take a step back for a second and you think about everything that has happened in LeBron's over 2-decade career. And it was never more apparent why the NBA is where it is right now because of LeBron. Because think about this for a second. This was a microcosm. This whole situation was a microcosm of what LeBron has basically held the league hostage for years because he is basically the modern day Michael Jordan, the best player, and maybe the most gifted athlete we have ever seen at any sporting event ever. This guy is as physically gifted as you're ever going to find. The guy's in his 40s and is still one of the, I would say, 10 best basketball players ever. But think about this. When he went to go form the Big Three in Miami, that changed the NBA forever because it became no longer about the dog in you and just like the hunger and wanting to win. It was all about teaming up with your buddies. And it was all, and it started this, fostered this culture in the NBA that has been going on now where it's no longer about wanting to go out and fucking kill your opponent. It's about, you know, hey, let's get along with each other. Let's team up with the next big superstar and go out and win a championship. And it made the NBA borderline unwatchable because you had the Miami Heat, three big superstars just controlling the league. And then LeBron, when he went back to Cleveland, let's go form it with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. And then, hey, let's go to LA and let's form a trio with Anthony Davis. Obviously, this Luka thing was, at least from everything that we've heard, is not his doing. But you take a look at what transpired on Sunday, that is embarrassing for the face of the league. If it were really about growing the game and it were really about making basketball better, then why is LeBron accepting an All-Star invitation knowing that he's not going to play? And this was not something that, clearly this was not something that he was just spur of the moment came up. Like, he was playing before the All-Star break and he just decides he's not going to play in the game. Like, what are we doing, man? And I like LeBron. I think he has done an immense amount for the game in terms of being an ambassador for it. But the culture and stuff that he has fostered has now festered down to a lot of the other players. And at least now we're kind of starting to get away from the whole super team era of things, because look at what happened. Kevin Durant did the exact same thing and literally has become like a byproduct of what LeBron had kind of done. And then you go back to this and it's like, you look at the All-Star game, nobody's cared in this game anymore. And then if you're talking about everybody was complaining about the dunk contest, LeBron had multiple opportunities to participate in. And I think he said something like either today or earlier this week where he was like, yeah, you know what? I have no regrets about not participating in it. LeBron, really? Again, I have always had the utmost respect. He brought a championship to a city I hold near and dear to my heart in Cleveland, but you just, man, when I saw that he was sitting out of this game and kind of blocked a whether inadvertent or not, like blocked a guy from potentially participating in this game. But yeah, he's the game's biggest superstar, and you're not participating in this game. He's kind of led by example. He hasn't really taken this game seriously since he's been involved in it. And it's just trickled down to the rest of the players. You're only as good. Your league is, and obviously Adam Silver deserves the brunt of the blame for kind of enabling this from this in the load management style of things, um, in enabling a lot of things that has made the interest in the NBA go down to where it is today. But you're only as good as like your biggest stars and your most marketable stars. And LeBron is right at the top of that list. And when you see that, yeah, he does play hard. Yes, he does keep himself in tremendous condition. But again, some of the things that he has done have indirectly, like, hurt the NBA. And then, like I said, I popped into my head. I started thinking about this because I was really frustrated. Not that like I'm this big Norman Powell guy, but it's like if you know you're gonna not play in the game, sit out and they'll get you a replacement. And somebody who deserves to be on the stage, like a Norman Powell, who's the big example in this. Like I said, I had no idea until the 3-point shooting contest that Norman Powell was averaging 24 points a game, which is incredible. Incredible, because nobody gave the Clippers a fucking chance this year. And the Clippers are actually a really great story out in the NBA. But you effectively block a guy from being in the game. That's not helping growing the game. So it's just it really, man, I never wanted it to be like this, but but I've always known for the longest time that there are a lot of drawbacks to LeBron James and why a lot of people do not like him. And by no means am I saying that he is the only person to blame for this, but again, when you're in a league of stars, the way you get up and you draw interest in is by your stars. And when LeBron just started teaming up with other people, the interest in the NBA started to dwindle down, dwindle down, and dwindle down. And then he got bitten by it because Golden State fought fire with fire. And now we're in a state of the NBA where everybody wants to sit. It's all about the 3-point shot, which that isn't LeBron's fault in his own right, but it's just I was really frustrated with this whole situation, and it just made me think about how we got to where we are in the NBA and why the NBA's interest is dwindled down. It's because LeBron hasn't taken this weekend seriously. He didn't take this weekend seriously enough to participate in it. And, if your top stars don't give a shit, why should the other guys give a shit? That's a big issue. So that's a big reason why the NBA is where it's at. That's the reason why this All-Star weekend doesn't mean nearly as much as it used to. Hopefully that changes. But I wouldn't feel optimistic about LeBron being the one to want to change that because let's face it, even though he is playing at an incredibly high level this stage of his career, I don't know how many more of these he has left in them. So, if you're a LeBron fan, like let me be clear, I've always been a LeBron fan, but I've recognized over time that he's kind of a jackass in a little bit of respect because that's just, you know, on some level as a star, you got to be inherently selfish, but it's just like it's gotten to the point where a lot of this stuff has started to become self-serving. And when you are elected to an all-star game, you're one of the leading vote getters in the NBA. You've been that way. And then the day of the all-star game, you announce that you're not playing. The fuck is that? Come on. Come on, LeBron, man. Like, you've done a lot for this league, but you've also kind of hurt it in a lot of respects, too. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.